Hi, it's Darnell at Wheel of Recipes, and this is my review of the Chefman Toast Air Touch Air Fryer plus Oven. And so, going to get it unboxed right now. And just to show you the box before the actual unboxing. Alright, so we've got it all unboxed, and so here's our power cord. It's a 3-prong power cord and pretty lengthy for countertop cooker cords. I kind of like that myself, but you know, they make them short for safety. Maybe it's savings for them, but you know, this one has a nice size cord. Also, we've got here an air fry basket. I'm going to just show you real quick. There's just 2 pieces of documentation. There's this quick start guide, and there's this manual. The manual has no recipes in it. It's just instructions. So they don't give you any recipes out of the box. And so you've got an air fry basket here, and this air fry basket does not go the full length of the rack, so you have to put it on something. So you can put it on either this wire rack that they give you. You could put it on that, and you could put the pan underneath. The pan and the wire rack are full length, so they can, you know, fit on a rack holder. Or if you don't want to put it on like this with this underneath, you can just put it into this pan like so and air fry like that, but then you're kind of limiting your airflow because you aren't going to get good airflow underneath. So the choice there is yours. They also give another nice accessory. They give 2, not 1, but 2 dehydration racks to use to do dehydration. So that's pretty nice. And this cooker has a 20-liter capacity. They say it can hold a 10-inch pizza, but they don't say 12-inch pizza, which is interesting that they say it can hold a 10-inch pizza, but we'll do our measurements for that. Also, it says that it can hold a whole chicken. Now, they don't say how many pounds that whole chicken is, just that it can hold a whole chicken. But from the measurements, we should be able to, you know, be able to help you to understand the size of this thing a bit. And the cooker is 1800 watts. It has temperature ranges that vary between 95 degrees Fahrenheit to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. That depends on the setting that you're using. It can do, basically with those temperature ranges, everything. It should be able to reach temperature ranges for anything from proofing up through air frying, but it doesn't have a dedicated proof button or dedicated proof function. But I would suspect if you did dehydration at 95 degrees Fahrenheit that it should be able to proof your dough down that low. There's no mentions in this cooker of a built-in preheat. It doesn't have a preheat. They say for preheating you just have to add time to your cook time, you know, before you put your food in to let it preheat. If that's what you want to do, they recommend about 5 minutes usually, unless you're doing like a pizza stone thing where you probably want to do 20 minutes. The cooker's time range limits are between 1 minute and 72 hours, of course, depending on the function used, and we'll go into those in detail later. And you can place this cooker, they recommend, on a heat-resistant surface and allow at least 2 inches all the way around on the outsides. And speaking of the outsides, I want to give you a view around the cooker. You can see the sides there. You got some vents on the sides, and we turn it around so you can see the back. You've got a small hump in the back there, just small one, and some ventilation in the back there as well. You know, summer vents and intakes and such to manage the air. And so that's a good look of the exterior. Alright, so here's a close-up view of the cooker. And down bottom here, when we pull, we've got a drip pan that slides out from the bottom there, so that's nice and convenient. The door is an auto pause style door. As soon as you open it, things pause. All manufacturers, take note, make your cooker have an auto pause door, please. And inside here we see a little ceiling on the bottom inside of the door there. No other ceiling around the door here. Oh, there is some sealing here. Correction. There's some sealing here. So you got some, rubber seal there. And down inside, you've got two heating elements on the bottom. On this side, nothing. The back, nothing. Over on your right side, you've got up here, you've got your ambient probe for the cooker. You've got your light back there in the back. Up top, you've got 4 heating elements, you see. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 heating elements. Also up there, you've got a really big fan, a really big convection fan. There is no heating element that I see over that, inside of that fan chamber there. Under that fan cover, there's just the fan, no heating element up inside of there. So you've got a big fan blowing down on 4 heating elements that are not too far apart, and you've got your 2 heating elements on bottom. So that's what you got going on inside of this cooker with a pretty decent looking door seal. Alright, so doing comparison of just a couple of cookers side by side. If the one that you're interested in is not done in this side by side comparison or the next, then you'll have to see my other review videos and look at the measurements of those to make your own comparisons. But this is the Cuisinart Chef's Convection Toaster Oven next to the Chefman. And so we can see that the Cuisinart's much wider. It's got the control panel on the side. The Chefman has a newer design, has the control panel up top here, and a slimmer design there. So when we look at like if we just do some simple measurements side to side, we got like 20 inches on the Cuisinart, whereas on the Chefman we've got a not even 16 inches, maybe 15 and a quarter maybe across. If we look at the height, we see, the Cuisinart is 11 inches, the Chefman is just, maybe a hair over 14 inches in height. And when we go from front to back here, and I do from the back hump to the handle is what I like to do. So back hump to handle is about 16 inches on the Cuisinart. On the Chefman, we're looking at about 15 and a half inches, I'd say. Maybe about 15, a little over 15 inches. Probably not even 15 and a half when you include that hump. Now, when we go inside and we open up these two cookers here, we see, this one, even though the control panel adds some width, it generally inside is just wider. It's just wider inside. And so when we measure that, we see we've got 14 and a half inches here. Over here on the Chefman, we go inside measure. We're looking at about 13. We're looking at 13 inches of about interior width, just about 13 inches. I mean, it's kind of close there. So when we go front to back, we can get in about 13 and a half inches on the Cuisinart. On the Chefman, front to back, we're looking at just about 13 inches front to back, so about even both ways. I want to take a 12-inch pizza stone here, and you could think of this as like a 12-inch frozen pizza. Fits in here no problem. You got room to play. I'm going to get this air fry basket out of the way. 12-inch pizza stone in the Chefman. Set it up there. We can get our 12-inch pizza stone in, so 12-inch pizza should fit no problem inside of the Chefman, even though their promotion material says 10-inch. You can get a 12-inch in there and you should be able to fit it in and cook it up. I got a 13-inch pizza stone though. That's a no-go. You're not going to get a 13-inch pizza stone, even though it's going to fit just fine in your Cuisinart. And so, quite obviously, if you use a 13-inch bake pan with no handles, you're not going to get that in there either. Whereas something like the Cuisinart, that's going to slide in no problem, nice and easy. I wanted to point out with the Chefman, there were only 2 rack levels. There's only this lower level and the upper level. That's it. That's all you get is 2 rack levels in the Chefman. Okay, so now we've got the Ninja Foodi XL Pro Air Fryer Oven next to the Chefman. And so they're looking kind of close on their width, but the length is much further back on the Ninja. But I want to go ahead and try and measure to see here. So in width, we've got 17 inches on the Ninja's width, while on the Chefman we've got, maybe just a little over 15, as I mentioned earlier. So the Ninja is wider, and on that front to back, and I guess if we do even the hump in the back of the Ninja, we're talking about roughly 20 inches on the Ninja, whereas with the Chefman we only have that, maybe 15.5 inches. So the Ninja is just bigger in all respects there. Now, because the Ninja has a handle control versus the Chefman having this top part control here, we've got top to bottom, we've got 14 on the Chefman. On the Ninja Foodi we've got maybe 13.5. The Chefman's just maybe a hair taller. And if we go on inside, the Ninja, it's bigger, so what can be said other than that? You've got your about 14.5 there, whereas on your Chefman you've only got your maybe 12.5. It's not even 13. It's about maybe 12.5 there. In front to back on your Ninja, we got that fan guard that mine has, because I have the older model. The newer models of the same cooker, or the newer releases of the same cooker, do not have the fan guard. That's just the way it is. But 12 inches, whereas on the Chefman we have that 13 inches there. Now I'm going to do, because this one is so much more taller, we'll do inside height. The inside height on the Ninja Foodi is a little over 10 inches, whereas on the Chefman we got maybe 7.5 or so. I mean, it's just smaller. It's basically the deal there. But if you got your 12-inch pizza stone, it goes into both. It fits in both. But if you've got something like your, again, our 13-inch pizza pan, we can get that in the Foodi fine, whereas we can't here. And again, with the 13-inch bake pan, no handles, no there. Yes, it goes in fine in the Ninja Foodi. So that gives you, some thought about your sizes and what you're going to be dealing with. Also, the Chefman only has 2 rack levels. The Ninja Foodi has 4 rack levels. So, you can do some real big time cooking in this one that you can't get done in the Chefman. That's just the way it is for how they're designed. Alright, so giving you a close-up view again of the cooker. We're going to do our initial plug-in, and we're going to see what happens when we plug it on in. So we got things plugged in, and suddenly we've got all types of nice, pretty controls and buttons. I'm sorry that for you it's doing kind of a shimmer. That's kind of an effect of the camera. But I can assure you the controls don't shimmy or shake at all. It's, steady, but sorry about that. But I wanted to point out some things. There are some buttons over here that need to be better explained a little further so that you, fully understand them. One thing is, when you use the toast button, you get a frozen button that comes up over there. If you use bagel, you get a frozen button that comes up over there. And that frozen button is to be used if your bagels or toast are frozen. Then it'll cook a little longer on your toast to, make sure it gets to the desired point when it's frozen. You don't get that frozen option when you go over to these other things here. You see, you don't get frozen when you click on those. The display adjusts and changes depending on what you're doing, and that's kind of neat. Now, the light button, you press it and your light comes on or off. But if you press and hold the light button, then the beeping stops. So it has a way to stop the beeping. Just hold the light button. Also, the time temp button that's used to switch between time and temp adjustments, if you hold that, then your temperature will change between Fahrenheit and Celsius if you just hold that a long time. If you just tap it, then you're going to be switching your controls between time and temp. But hold it and it goes from Fahrenheit to Celsius. So those are just some things to keep in mind there. Now let's do some discussion of all the functions that are on this cooker. The first we have, which is the one that we're already on, is bake. It can go from 200 degrees Fahrenheit to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, and it has cooking time ranges of 1 minute to 4 hours. And as I mentioned earlier, they recommend you do 5 minutes more if you want to preheat and just let it run for 5, and then you can throw your stuff in. The door auto pauses when you open it up. Next is the convection bake button. With convection bake, the temperature ranges, first of all, are 200 to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, and the cooking times are between 1 minute to 4 hours. Next is broil, and on broil, it's a little interesting. Broil, as you see, has this high-low thing going on, and so let's go back to the temp thing is high, or you can do low. And basically at high, it's doing 450. At low, it does 400. The cooking times on broil are between 1 minute and 20 minutes. Next is air fry. And with air fry, you can do between 200 degrees Fahrenheit to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Your cooking time ranges are 1 minute to 1 hour. With slow cook has this high-low thing going on again for your temperature. And with the slow cook, high is 300 degrees Fahrenheit, low is 200 degrees Fahrenheit, with cooking time ranges of 30 minutes to 24 hours. So, you could slow and low something at 200 degrees Fahrenheit if you want, or 300. And the next feature is warm. And with warm, you have temperature ranges of between 200 to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Cooking time ranges are 1 minute to warm hour. Warm hour to 1 hour. 1 minute to 1 hour. And if you're cooking leftover cooked meat, you can use like a pan underneath and fill it with a cup of water, and that'll kind of help things to stay hydrated so that it doesn't dry out. Now we're back to toast again. Tell you some more about toast. Toast and bagel are both locked at 450 degrees Fahrenheit, and you just select your shade using the arrows there. Select your shade. You see things are adjusting down there. And you could also use that frozen option if you want, but you don't get an option of the number of slices. It's just shades, and that's all. The next option for functions is dehydrate. And you can dehydrate between 90 degrees to 165 degrees Fahrenheit for time ranges between 30 minutes to 72 hours. I've never had anything I had to dehydrate for 3 days, but if someone has done something for 3 days, let me know. I'd like to be interested in hearing what that is. And the top 2 rows of cooking functions can be used for dual cook. Now when doing a dual cook, since you're using any of the top 2 rows of buttons, you can do, like, let's say you have it on bake and you say, I want to do a dual cook. I want to bake something then broil the top of it. So I hit that dual cook button and I'm baking at 350, 30 minutes. You can hit time temp to adjust your time and temp on bake if you want. And then after the bake, let's say you want to do a broil, you would hit the 2 button and you hit your broil, and you've basically got your time and your temp for broil that you set. And after that, you would hit start, and so you can get it started. Now after you set up your dual cook, if you want to get out of dual cook, you hit this dual cook button again. Takes you right out of dual cook. If you're cooking with your dual cook, you can just go ahead with your cook, and if you want to stop at any time, hit your stop button to stop the cook. But on dual cook, the way we had it set up, it would bake and then jump right into that broil right afterwards to broil the top of something if that's what you wanted to do. Now I want to do a quick check of the memory. I'm going to go to air fry, and I'm going to set it to 450, And I'm going to set my time out to 30 minutes. So when I hold the button, I can get it up to 30 minutes faster. It's not doing any excessive beeping as I press buttons. That's kind of nice. But I've got it there, and let's say I just, was using that and I was cooking, on that level of temperature and time. I'm going to stop it. I'm going to go back to bake. And now I'm going to go back to air fry again, see if it remembers what I had. You see, air fry totally forgets what I had before. What I cooked at before, it does not remember. So there's no memory going on here. So there's no point in us doing like an unplugged memory check. It just doesn't remember what you did last. So every time you come up to this cooker, you're going to have to go from your defaults over to whatever you want. It's not going to remember it. That's a little disappointing. Now let's do a check of toast. I'm going to put it on level, let's say 5. Well, no, 5 is darkest, so I'll do it on 4. So a level 4 of toast. And from there, we're just going to hit start just to see when it's cold what range of time it does. And then later on, when it's nice and hot, we'll see if it maybe adjusts down when it's hot if you do a toast. But we're just going to try this on level 4. We hit start and hit 5 minutes, 5 seconds. So I'm going to cancel that. Now, let's just say, and you see when I canceled it, it just lost my, oh no, it did my 4 still, didn't lose it. Sorry about that. But we got toast, we got 4 still, did 5 minutes, 5 seconds, but I hit the frozen button. So I hit my frozen button, I hit start, and it's 5 minutes, about 25 seconds. So it adds 20 seconds for bread that it thinks is frozen, basically. Alright, so it's temperature testing time. I've got the iGrill 2 ambient probe in there. And so to wake the cooker up, I'm seeing what I can do to wake it up. It looks like when it's off, I guess you have to hit the start stop button to wake things up. But I've got it on the air fry, and I'm going to up the temperature to 450 and up the time to 30 minutes, and we'll see how long it takes if it does make it to the target temperature of 450 degrees Fahrenheit. So closing up there and going to hit start, and we'll just keep track of the time and things, and I'll bring you on back. Alright, something interesting has happened. The cooker has been running for roughly 6 minutes now, and the temperature went over 400. Then I heard like a click, like it was adjusting. It went down to the 390s, and now it's going back over 400 again, but we're over 5 minutes, and I never saw it go over 450. Well, I never saw it go far over 400. I would say 450, but never saw it go far over 400. Now it's at 411. This is about the highest that I've seen, and now it's 415. We'll just let it go a little longer and see what happens here. Alright, we're 7 minutes in, and we're at about 450 now. We're at 449. So one more degree and we'll hit 450 on the ambient. You're at 455. So it took about well, not even 8 minutes, but over 7 minutes, and we got over 450. We're at 450. We're at 465. We're still moving on up. So it does reach its target temp. It takes a while, but it gets there, and it goes even farther. So just going to let it keep going, and I guess we'll see how high it goes. I mean, we're at 477, so this thing is moving along now. Alright, we're up to 490, and we just a little over 8 minutes. We reached 490. I heard a click in there, so I think it's going to try and adjust down again. No, we're at 495. Now we're kind of teetering between 495 and it dropping, because now it's showing like 490. So I think it did start adjusting there, but it got up to 490 in about 8 minutes. So it reaches that temp. It gets there. That's pretty interesting. I'm going to go ahead and hit the stop now, and I want to see what happens with toast now. So I'm going to set it back to 4 slices, And I think I hear a fan in there now that I stopped it. It sounds like there's a cool down fan that runs for a while. But gonna hit start here, and it's saying 4 minutes, like 6-7 seconds. So it realizes when things are hot, and it adjusts things down a little bit as far as time. That's interesting. Alright, so now I'm just doing like a standard 20-minute burn off, and while the burn off runs, I just want to check how hot things are around the outside of the cooker. And on top here, it's pretty warm. I can keep my hand there for a few seconds. I wouldn't say very long, but for a few seconds I can do it. On the side here, it's about the same on the side there. On this side, I think it's a little cooler over on this side. Yeah, it is a little cooler on that side. I could probably keep my hand there a while on that side. On the front here, you know, the heat emitting from that glass, I don't want to touch it. The back, let's see. The back I'm able to touch. It's hot back there, but I can keep it there for a few seconds. Because basically, like the top, the back, and about this side are all kind of hot. This side, it's warm. It's really warm, but you know, maybe not as hot as the rest here. I wouldn't want to keep my hand anywhere for an extended period of time, though. In the front, is, you know, it just feels like it's just emitting some real heat there in the front. So that's how things feel around the outside of this cooker while, you know, things are running real hot. I also want to show you with this cooker, you can change the time and temp on the fly. So if I hit time temp, I can adjust the temp down like 425. I can adjust the time down to, let's say, 8 minutes, and it'll adjust to that on the fly. So now it's at 425 for 8 minutes. I'm going to adjust it back up, let my burn off complete, then go back up. I had about 10 minutes left when I was just kind of checking that. And you can change the time and temp on the fly. And so, you know, that's kind of neat to be in the middle of a cook, and if you need to adjust things, you can. Alright, so the cooker is very well cooled off now. So let's do a toast test. This is a bun. This is a store-bought bun from my refrigerator. And so I'm going to stick both slices of the bun up here. Got it on that high rack level. And close things up. I'm going to hit that start stop to wake the cooker up. I'm going to hit toast. And then we're going to go up to level 4. We'll get it really dark. And we'll see what happens. So I'm going to hit start with that, and you know, it's running its 5 minutes 25 seconds. I'll bring you right back when it's done. Alright, we're coming into the final seconds, and it looks like that level 4 toast does a pretty good job. So, you know, depending on how you like it, you know, you might like it like this, or you might want to bring it down some, but we see the bun on this side got cooked really well done. The back got cooked pretty good too, so cooks both sides well. And we'll check this other one. Got some cook on the back, so I think it did pretty well with the toast test. And you know, the cooker started out from cold start and does a good job with that. Alright, so now I'm going to do a bake test using these sweet biscuits with icing. They're blueberry sweet biscuits. And I've got its bake pan here with the Copper Chef Bake and Grill mat on it. And so I'm just going to get these basically set up on the bake pan here. Alright, so got them all set up. The cooker's already a little warm from the toast, so I'm just going to go with it. I'm just going to put them here on this, I guess I'll put them on this upper level there and close up. And I'm going to set it to bake 375, and you're supposed to do it for like 12 to 14 minutes. I don't know if, you know, since it's not fully preheated, if it'll need more, but we're just going to see, you know, how this thing does baking. But 12 to 14, I'll put it on 14 and just hit start. and we'll just see how things go. Alright, it's been running for 7 minutes, but they look, I mean, I guess you could tell me in a comment what you think, but they look pretty good to me. I mean, I'm just going to poke one with a knife. I mean, 7 minutes. The cooker was already a little warm, but still, I mean, you know, poking one comes out clean there. This is pretty quick work. I'm trying to not burn myself and get one open. I mean, it's pretty good for 7 minutes. I think, you know, if there's anything that's even a little gooey in there, I think the carryover will take care of it. I'm going to take these out, set them over here on the side, and start icing them up. Alright, so I got them all iced up. I have to say I'm surprised that, you know, in 7 minutes they were all done. I definitely was expecting it to take a little longer despite the cooker already being warm from the toast. But let me go ahead and it wasn't like, you know, I just super quick the moment after got these in there. You know, it was a little bit of time between getting the toast stuff out of the way and getting these out and starting these and getting them out on the pan and all. I mean, it took some time, so it wasn't like it was 450 in there or anything. But I'm going to go ahead and just bite into one just to taste it. It's done and very good. Alright, now we're going to do a air fry test with these French fries here. Nothing in this video is sponsored, but I'm going to get the fries here. I just got this pan here to hold the air fry basket while I put the fries in it. Alright, so got a rack on the high level there. Things are still a little warm from the earlier cook, but I'm going to put my fries in there on it with nothing underneath. So let me try to get that in there like so. And so I'm going to close up and going to hit air fry, and I guess, you know, I'll take them up to 450 just to, I don't know, I mean it gets so hot, maybe I shouldn't do 450. I'm going to do 400. And for time I'm going to do 15, but we'll start with that. I have to say, you know, I see why this cooker doesn't have a preheat. I mean, it really doesn't need a preheat. This thing is tearing through stuff and gets hot, you know, to knock some stuff out pretty well. It takes a little while to get up to the 450, but still all the same, it knocks stuff out so far. We'll see how it does with these fries. Alright, so let these fries go for 13 minutes even. Gonna stop them there because they're looking done. And so going to pull them all on out here. And so you can see the fries, they look pretty good. Looks like maybe the ones in the back got a little more, well no, there's ones on the side here, but these in here didn't get done as well. So maybe a spin would have evened things out a little bit more in this case. I think with the sweet biscuits, you know, they all look pretty equally done, pretty much. So, you know, I guess you can spin if you want to better even things out, but not bad overall anyway. So, I'm just going to get these all out and put them into this bowl here. Alright, so just going to do a quick taste of one, and thank God for this fry. Actually, I didn't show you the inside of the fry when I bit into it, so let me taste test one more. I like to show the inside so that you know it was, you know, fully well cooked in. It's good. It's crunchy on the inside. I mean, it's crunchy on the outside, I meant to say. moist on the inside. So they turned out well, did a good job with the fries. So now let's talk about cleaning the cooker. I will refer to my notes so that I don't mislead you. But they say basically you could use like a warm soapy cloth, you know, on the inside of the cooker. I recommend you unplug it first just so you don't electrocute yourself or anything. Warm soapy cloth, you can wipe like the inside and the excess if you want to wipe anything on the outside, and then, you know, wet it and wipe the excess soap off and whatever so that you don't have any more soap on there. And you're not supposed to use any abrasive stuff like the metal scrubbing pads or any of that. Don't use any of that. The crumb tray, the bottom slide out crumb tray, is not dishwasher safe. Remember, that's not dishwasher safe. The broil pan is not dishwasher safe either. That's the baking pan, broiling pan. That's not dishwasher safe either. The other accessories, that's being the air fry basket, the wire rack, they say those are top level dishwasher safe. So that's how it goes with cleaning. I usually wash things by hand with the exception of the air fry baskets. I usually, with every cooker, put the air fry basket in the dishwasher. I haven't had one yet that had a problem with the air fry basket top rack using it in the dishwasher. I haven't had a problem with one yet, but you know, this one, they're okay with it. Some manufacturers say no, but either or, I've never had an issue, regardless what they say. Now, I do want to talk about the warranty. There is a 1-year limited warranty. They say that it's void unless you have the proof of purchase from within the USA, Canada, or Mexico. If you don't have that proof of purchase, they're not going to honor your warranty. And one interesting thing, because like they put some notes of other things that they wouldn't, you know, honor a warranty over, and this one's interesting. They say claims of loss of interest or enjoyment are not covered. So it's like, if you don't like the cooker, you don't get warranty coverage if you don't like the cooker. So, you know, usually warranties are for things that break. They're usually not for, I just didn't like it. But some people give a, you know, satisfaction guarantee type of guarantee. And, you know, it's a 1-year limited warranty, and they're saying, hey, it's a warranty for stuff that, you know, just breaks that shouldn't have broke, you know, not because you just didn't like it. So, anyway, with all that said, probably everything that was used in this video except for the food, you can find a link to my Amazon shop, and there'll be referral links for like the cooker, and my Amazon shop has like the bacon grill mats and the pan and, you know, all that other stuff is more than likely in my Amazon shop there. Also, you can get my cookbook, and, you know, that helps the channel also. And on my site, my blog, superwaveovenrecipes.com, you can find also recipes there for air fryers and other types of cookers. Now, with all that said, I do want to say, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share the video with a friend, leave your comments, subscribe, hit that notification icon, and good eating.